Hello and welcome to another episode of Mason Talks About Email Marketing so you can do it too and make a lot of money. We are going to be talking about the overarching strategy that governs how I interact with every list to get each list the most possible revenue out of the list. The specifics will change according to the needs of the business and the attitude of each list, but the overall three-part strategy that I'm about to outline for you does not change. We're going to outline it in broad strokes, and then if you get it and it makes sense to you and you're like, that will work for me too, then I want you to go ahead and grab my book, the Email Mastery Playbook, at the link below, and that will give you specifics, templates, walkthroughs in a finer amount of detail. But for now, let's get started. By the end of this video, you're going to know how to make a lot of money from your list. Part 1, engagement. The point of your engagement sequence is to separate people who are interested in us from those who aren't, because we don't want to talk to people who aren't interested in us. Unfortunately, that's going to be about 50% of people who come into your list, come into your world. Of all of the people who engage with you in some form, about 50% of them are just useless. They will not spend money. Not only will they not spend money on you, but they will not buy a solution at all. They're window shoppers. And so we don't want to talk to them. We only want to talk to people who have a good chance of spending money on us. And to do that, we can actually train the remainder to open, click, reply, and otherwise engage with us in a way that gets us commitment from them. These micro commitments lead to major commitments like booking a sales call or giving you $8,000 down the line. A sale of $8,000 starts with opening an email. You get them to commit more and more until eventually they're on the sales call. To do this, we employ automated welcome sequences. Everyone watching this video knows what a welcome sequence is. And everyone's been in one. You're in the 7-day sequence or you're in the 14-day sequence. That's cool, but most people get welcome sequences wrong. The point of your welcome sequence, which is the first series of emails they get when they come into your world, is not to get them to buy. If they are not going to buy from your ads or your VSL or your webinar or your sales doc the first time they see it, they aren't going to then buy from your welcome sequence probably. Basically because their level of comfort and their unanswered questions has not changed in between the time they clicked on your ad and the time they go through your welcome sequence. It takes more than that. So loading up your welcome sequence with like emails that say, hey, act fast, book a call, it's super urgent, is using the wrong tool for the job at that time. The right tool for the job is to seek out transactions of energy in the form of the micro commitments that I just talked about, so that they become more comfortable with you in a way that will eventually lead to them paying you. So that's why we ask for the reply. It's why we give them interactable content like, hey, these are my best YouTube videos. Hey, listen to this podcast that I just did. Hey, watch these case studies and see if any of what results we got for them rings true for you. Okay, we want them exploring our ecosystem and committing to the things that we ask them to commit to. That's the whole job of a welcome sequence. Of course, after that, I will often put a promotion at the end of the welcome sequence just in case they want to come in. But usually that's not what makes the most money. What makes the most money is something I'm going to tell you in this video. What makes us the most money is something you have to earn. Let me put it to you that way. You know those emails that say, hey, book a call now. Hey, if you're interested in this result, you need to book a call with not my sales guy, my advisor. You know those emails that you get? Those are actually the most effective at earning revenue. You get those emails because they work. People click the link and book a sales call off of those emails. But the problem is that if you send those too much, you burn the list. Like, your list is not interesting. No one cares. It's not valuable to be on. It's not engaging to be a part of this list. So people just tune you out, or they unsubscribe, or worse, they mark you as spam, which isn't, super common, but it does happen. However, we don't want to just throw those emails out because they book 80% of the revenue. 20% of emails book 80% of the revenue. In order to then earn the permission and the right to send those emails, we have to do the indoctrination phase. So we just did the engagement phase, which is the engagement sequence that I just talked about. After the engagement sequence, they get dropped into the master email list, and we begin the indoctrination. 80% of the emails you send will be indoctrinating. 20% will be in promotions. And yes, 80% of the revenue comes from the 20% of the emails you send, which are promotions, but you have to earn the right to send those first. Part 2, indoctrination. Indoctrination is just about turning fence sitters into buyers. Yes. Some will come in fast. They'll buy from your ads, they'll buy from your engagement and your welcome sequence, but the overwhelming amount will not buy immediately. Like I said, if they haven't made the decision to buy from your ads or your VSL or your webinar, they aren't going to buy from your welcome sequence. They will come in over the next 2 years once they become indoctrinated. Legitimately and factually, I have been able to track the lead journey from opt-in all the way to book a call. And in many cases, it takes 1 year to 2 years. Just sitting on your list, reading your emails, engaging with your content, not making a decision until something just clicks and they're like, okay, it's time. Therefore, you have to send daily emails. Daily or semi-daily. You can send 3 a week, depending on the size of your list. For very large lists, you need to send 7 a week, at least. Generally, the more you send, the more you make. Indoctrination emails are just talking about things that they will be interested in. What you're doing in the business, insights that you have related to their specific situation, things that are happening in the industry. The content of your indoctrination emails can be story-driven. It can be emotional. It can be anything that interests them. If you look in your inbox and you see emails that tell a story, this is an indoctrination email. The problem with this is that most people don't know how to write them in a way that's interesting and engaging. If you do write an interesting and engaging email and then it gets no calls, they tend to think, oh, it doesn't work. Well, right, but that's not the point. The indoctrination email is to continue keeping all the attention that we got during the engagement sequence in a way that builds over time, so that eventually when you do send your promotions, which we're going to talk about next, they're more likely to say, okay, I get who this is. I get what they stand for. I like hearing from them. I trust them, I think. Therefore, I will now book a call. You earn the call through indoctrination. And it can take months. It can take years. But if you don't do it, you will earn fewer calls and less revenue. Part 3, promotion. Now that we have engagement and we've selected for micro commitments, and we've taken the engaged people and we've kept their attention, we are going to promote to them. We are going to sell to them. We are going to put them on a call with our sales team and collect money from them in exchange for our program or service. The majority of applications come from hard pitch, direct emails that do say, book a strategy session with us and we'll help you fix your business. All those emails that you get in your inbox that are like, book a call now, they work if you've done the previous 2 steps. When I was getting started, I was sending basically just indoctrination emails to the list. I was keeping them warm because I didn't really know what else to do. Just like, hey, here's what's going on with us. Hey, here's what I think about stuff going on in the industry. Hey, here's a meme. We had this very warm list that we were never really harvesting from, and we weren't hitting the KPIs that we wanted to hit. Like, open rates were great. Engagement was great. Where were the sales? They were non-existent because we weren't actually promoting to the list. Once we started sending these emails that said, get on a sales call, or we actually called it a consultation. And you should call it a consultation or an audit or something. Don't say get on a sales call. Hey, we've got slots available for free consultations about whatever benefit you're trying to get to. If you would like to book them, go ahead and click the link before someone else takes these spots, right? We send those, and my God, we 10x'd the results from email. We went from 4 booked calls to 40 booked calls in a month due to these short, to the point, salesy emails that beat out all the value-driven, soft, nurturing content that I had been doing up until then. I feel passionately about my promotional emails. But the only reason that we had such an explosion of results is because we had been doing the right things beforehand just by accident. And engaging, indoctrinating, and as soon as we put in this promotional aspect to our strategy, everything blew up. So I guess the question is on everybody's mind, okay, what do those emails look like? How do I write them? How do I do it fast? In what order do I put them? How often do I send them? Real quick Q&A. Indoctrination emails look like 200 words, 200 to 250 words, and they talk about stuff. And then at the end, you throw in a link to book a call, and you're just like, oh yeah, if this makes sense to you, you can get on a call with one of my advisors, blah, blah, blah. Promotional emails can be sent at the end of the month or at the end of the week or at the end of every 2 weeks to harvest the attention that you've been getting from the indoctrination emails. Even though you put a link in the indoctrination emails, you won't get calls from them most of the time. You give your leads the option to come in, but they mostly won't until you hit them with a promotional email. And a promotional email just says, here's the spots we have on the calendar. You will talk to my advisor or get on a list audit, and they will go over X, Y, and Z in your business. We don't have that many. If you want your spots, book a call now. Book an audit now, and we will talk about getting you this result. You can send 2 or 3 of these at the end of the month, or maybe even 5 to 7. You can send 1 or 2 at the end of every week, depending on the list size. These are not the majority of your emails. They are the 20% of the emails that book 80% of the revenue. The remaining 80% of the emails that book 20% of the revenue are your indoctrination emails. But like I said, you need those. You need the long emails so you can send the short emails. That's it. If I needed to get money from my list right now, I would hit them with, first of all, I might just send them a promotional email depending on their attitude and how much mailing I've been doing. But if I had already been doing that and it hadn't been working, then I would start indoctrinating them, building up the attention, building up the goodwill so that I could then harvest it at the end of the next 2 weeks through promotions. Give that a shot and see how it shakes out. You're welcome in advance for the tens of thousands of extra dollars you're going to collect over the next week or so.